G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Sunday the 29th of May 2022 and the time here is 09:20 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Alright folks, as usual, plenty to go through. Let's go to my sponsor. Here is my sponsor, Totally Rawsome, who make golden activated turmeric paste and other products. Happy Healing Silica, pig's ears and doggy treats for your dogs. Look, these guys make everything. That if you've got inflammation of your joints, take this stuff. Honestly, it bloody works. I'm not joking. It really does. Oh, they've got elderberry syrup now. Oh, excellent. They've got something for everyone's taste, folks. Seriously. I wouldn't be marketing in it or trying to sell it to you guys if it didn't work. I use it every single day. So does my wife. And everyone I've recommended it to loves it. Contact. You can call them in Australia, 0433 165 848. info@totallyrawsome.com.au, or very simply chat to them on the website or go on their email list. Okay. Three really important things have happened lately that you may or may not be aware of. Sorry, just going to sip my coffee, which has got my turmeric paste in it. I'm going to show those to you now. They could get the specs on. Did you know that India has banned all exports of grain, not just wheat? That's wrong. It's all exports of grain from their country. And the reason they've said that is for food security issues. Why? Okay, well, did you know that Ukraine and Russia, between them, produce mainly for Europe, for the northern hemisphere, not so much the southern hemisphere, although we do receive some grain, believe it or not, up to, can include, now there's a bit of a definition here, right? 75% of the grain of wheat and 35% of world's wheat. Think about that. But I don't understand it either. But that is the fact. I don't know how whoever figured out those figures. But apparently, if you go across Europe and the majority of the Western world, 75% of the wheat is supplied by Russia and Ukraine. 35% is exported. You know how much that is? That is bucket loads. Now, the other day, Putin said, look, the world is now warning, all the governments in the world, if you're paying attention, are warning that there is going to be a famine. Not specifically in America or anything like that, but in Baltic states and Africa. They're actually saying this out loud now. Russia turned around the other day and said, look, to stop this, we will supply all the wheat the world needs because we've got it. All you guys have to do is stop this bullshit in Ukraine and end this conflict now. And the West went, so what do you think is going to happen now? There is no grain coming from Ukraine and there is no grain coming from Russia. Now, how does that affect us here? And India has quite rightly said, we're not giving our grain to anyone. There's no more exports as of 3 months ago. So how does this affect us here in Australia? Well, right, here in Australia, we seem to think that we are the food bowl of the world. We're not. We should be, but we're not. Sorry, hang on. Itchy leg. We're not. What we actually give the world is bugger all. And the reason for that is because of the European Union and the Americans signing agreements. So Australia got pushed out. Remember, we used to export most of our meat to Europe. We don't anymore. Bananas, we don't anymore. All this sort of stuff. This is what went on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Effectively, we became kind of a pariah state for food, and no one wanted our food, even though it's the best in the world. And, you know, I've been around the world. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. Compared to American products and produce, there is no comparison. And I've lived in America, and I can tell you their food and vegetables are shit compared to ours, and England. So one of the sticking points of that deal was that we got shafted. And of course, we cut back all our wheat production. Not saying we don't, we do grow it. But if you remember when, I'm 57, if you remember when we were kids, there was just paddock after paddock after paddock of wheat. Because we're the best place in the world to grow it. Dry, arid, a little bit of rain here and there, which is what wheat wants. We can still be the biggest producer of wheat in the world, but we're not, because we can't compete with Russia and Ukraine on their price, or the fact that we're getting shafted by the Western countries because of it. So we don't grow wheat. We grow wheat, but we don't grow enough, nowhere near enough. We don't even have a big enough wheat reserve for the country. That's how bad it is. We've got some, not a lot. Wouldn't last forever, put it that way. Not that you expect it to anyway. Now, and here's the big thing. And I've started to pay more and more attention to this. We don't produce fertilizer. And, sorry, that's not true. We produce fertilizers, but minute. When you want fertilizer for big whole-scale production, that's all manufactured over in the Northern Hemisphere, and it has to come here, i.e. China, Russia, and guess what? Ukraine. So they're the three main suppliers of fertilizer. In particular, Russia. Now, Russia's cut off just about all of the Western world for fertilizer. The crisis is so bad that this year when they plant the wheat, they plant everything, they're not even sure how much is going to survive. I was listening to a guy on a talkback show the other day who is high up in the wheat industry ever, and he was saying that they're expecting an 80% drop in their wheat production this year. 80%. So that's why this is such a big deal. So you've been warned. You know, we can't all go and grow wheat out in our backyard, and it'd be pointless anyway, because without sounding too stupid, the top end of the wheat is the main thing. You have to literally grow gazillion acres to feed a population, and that's what they do. You know, those farms are massive. You couldn't go and grow it down the backyard, because by the time you grind it up, you're going to get a handful. That's it. And that ain't going to feed anybody. Which is why in Africa, etc., they grow corn or maize, because it's more voluminous. You get more out of it than you do of wheat. Hope that makes sense. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I'll put all these links in the description box for you. Now, this was interesting. I don't usually watch these things or listen to these. Now, this came up on my thing, and there's also, I clicked on the link and there's a YouTube thing here. So I'm not really sure. I'm not 100% sure. Look, everyone's saying it's real. Like, it's a leaked video audio of a high-level Chinese delegation, the highest level Chinese delegation, sitting there talking about war, transitioning from peacetime to war. Now, believe it or not, in the Western country, we don't do that. We just go straight to war. Okay, 9/11, bang, Okay, send the troops in. Didn't prepare the country, nothing. China, on the other hand, has got together all the main officials in China via video link, all of them, generals, council officials, everybody, and told them that they're going to war. Not tomorrow, not next week, but they've told them you have to transition from a peacetime economy to a war economy, or a war footing. Peacetime, wartime. So these guys are all now madly preparing their societies to go from peacetime to war, hoarding all their goods and services, telling people what they can and can't have, conscription, all this sort of stuff is now happening in China. This happened the other day, and this is the third time it's been verified to me now in a matter of weeks, because this happened a couple of months ago, sorry. China is going, I've said this before, China is going to invade Taiwan. And they're going to, and if you know anyone in Taiwan, you need to tell them to get out for their own sake. Because China is not going to go in there nicely. They are going to lay waste to the place. One, to prove a point, and two, because Taiwan is the #1 place that supplies nearly all of the world's chips, computer chips. Think about that. Okay. Now, the other day, Bitcoin went. Now, I'm not a Bitcoin expert. I'm not a Bitcoin fanatic. I'm not a fan of it at all. Like I said, from day one, I've had real worries about it, because I know that it was supposed to be secretive and blah, blah, blah. And it's not. It's simply not. And these people that keep saying this bullshit are lying to you. It's being manipulated by the powers that be because they want to take it over. Don't you get that? If you've made money out of it now, good on you. Get out of it. Stay out of it, because you're going to lose everything. I listened to a guy on the radio the other day, again, he lost $57,000 overnight on something that's not supposed to be manipulated by the governments. 57,000. So if you've got Bitcoin, it's not financial advice or anything, get the hell out of it, because you're going to get done. You are going to get rolled over. And if you don't think that they can't shut it down, then you're deluded. Absolutely deluded. Go and buy gold and silver. If you can't buy gold bullion, which I can't afford to, no one who can, only. But here's my other point, gold and bullion. I'll give you an example. That's kind of like a size of a gold bullion thing. Who wants to be carrying that around? Buy gold coins, buy gold chains, or ingots. Little fellas, about this big. Something that you can break apart easily. Chains, as I've said before, were the #1 currency around the world for years and years and years. That's why the Vikings wore so many. That's why the Sultans Arabs had all the chains. It was to explain how much wealth they had, for one, and two, if they needed to, they just chopped a couple of links off. There you go, there's your silver. Then they'd refix it, job done. Sounds stupid, but it's that simple. So I went shopping the other day, and even though I do this, and I'm pretty aware, even I was shocked how high prices have gone. I heard someone the other day paid $64 a kilo for a sirloin steak. Top of the range, I know, but $64 a kilo. Things are just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. And here's the other thing. If you're going to go out soon, right, and I'll use this as an example. I was talking to a concreter yesterday. He's now getting charged a surcharge for the trucks delivering the concrete. So the concrete price has gone up, but he's also getting charged a $50 surcharge on skips, concrete, all this sort of stuff for fuel excise. Now, he sat down and he worked it out. That was $8,000 a year. If he continued to use what he's doing now, $8,000 a year extra. Think about that as a business. 8,000. That's, for some people, that's a big profit margin per month, sort of thing. If you're not making that much money in a month, then you need to give it up. You don't know this in America, etc., but we've had 3 big companies, building companies, go bust here in Australia in the last in the last 6 months. 4 big ones. Last one was the other day. Pivotal went broke, and now Australia's biggest, and I've heard this firsthand from someone who works very closely in the industry, Metricon has been broke for months. They had to get a loan off the Queensland government on the hush, which they did apparently. I've heard this firsthand. Is it true? I don't know, but I got told that by someone who's in the know. So, and then this was a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago. And then ironically, 2 days ago when Pivotal went broke, we found out that Metricon was asking the New South Wales and Victorian governments for cash handouts to finish their jobs. That's shocking, because their turnover, or their profit margin on their turnover, is like that, wafer thin. You get timber going up, concrete going up, fuel going up, everything going up. It's all gone. You only need 3 months of that to make that go bang all over. So it's sad, but it's true. That's what's going on. So where does this all leave us? Like I said, I went to the shops the other day, and I'm shocked at how much things are going up. Like, it's getting to the point where it is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And as a caring, you'd like to think of yourself as a caring sort of individual, I guess, if you give a shit. There's people out there now that aren't eating. Think about that. There's parents out there that are feeding their kids, but they're not eating. And we're supposed to live in a free democracy, etc. That's pretty shit. That is, we're living in a first world country, apparently. There's more and more people now living in cars, more and more people trying to find caravan parks to live in. Listen, and I know this is going to sound somewhat contrite, I guess, but listen, if you're watching this video and you're one of those people in that situation, say you're living on the Gold Coast, or you live in Brisbane, Melbourne, wherever, get the hell out. Go to a good regional centre that has goods and services. Look it up. That has good services, good hospital for a start, good regional hospital, about 30, 40,000 people, and go there. Get the hell out of the cities, because you're not going to get any help. Because this is only going to get worse. Today there was 10 people. Next week there's going to be 50. Week after that there's going to be 100, 150. Week after that there's 300. Do you get the point? For every time the incremental prices go up, someone has to pay for that. And it's not the people at the top. It's people at the bottom. We're all going to pay for it. Like I said to you, are people going to start realising when fuel hits $3 a litre? No. When fuel hits $4, $5 a litre, people are then going to start going, wow, what's going on here? And that's coming real quick. That's if we don't go into a full-blown war before then. And then after that, all bets are off, guys. Seriously, that's how bad it's going to get. Sounds doom and gloom, but what else can I tell you? It's going to get that bad. Been saying this for years now. You know, the only reason these guys have kept it going is from dodgy dealing, printing money, ripping people off, taking people's bank accounts, you know, all this sort of crap. Sending people broke, killing people so you don't have to pay them a pension. You know, there's no conspiracies. You know, flying planes over, pouring out crap that makes it rain for like 4 months straight. That's where we're living. That's our reality. That's not a fiction. That's reality. That's where we're living. And the only thing you can do is start at the beginning, which is you and your family, and then reach out and build communities, friendships, good communities, and have an action plan. You need an action plan. It's as simple as that. All right, I didn't want to bleed on too long today, so let's do the prayers. Wait till you see the verse of the day. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. I'll read that again. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. And as always, folks, we'll finish with the Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. All right. There's not much else to say at the moment. Just head down, bum up, get things ready, folks. Honestly, go and buy your supplies, keep going, keep head down. All right, God bless. Prep out. I'll put all the links in the description box so you guys can read all this stuff, okay?